Good afternoon Twitch, and hello YouTube. Hope everyone's doing well today. Welcome back to a brand new live stream. And we're back on Satisfactory. I know I've taken a few days break. That's purely because I've woken up, I've looked at the game, and I've asked myself the question, do I want to stream Satisfactory today? When the answer is yes, which most days it is, I stream. If the answer is no, I don't force myself. So that's why I've taken a couple days break. I have been live over on Twitch the last couple of days. They're having so much fun over on Call of Duty. In case you guys haven't seen that, you don't have to watch it, but I'm live pretty much every single day over on Twitch. If you guys do want extra content from myself. Regardless, we are back on Satisfactory today. I was supposed to start my stream a few minutes ago, so apologies for the delay. I just noticed like 10-15 minutes ago that my editing software updated itself last night. And it reset every single setting I had. Everything. And there was a lot. So I had... Yo, Rezamin, thank you for the sub. I was wondering where that sound was coming from. I got so confused. Thank you very much for the sub. That's extremely kind. Oh, welcome Vinod, who's the first one here today. Welcome Marita, greeting from Texas. Oh, welcome. You're nowhere near close to the stage, but you figured to take a look. Yeah, neither am I. But hopefully we'll be tackling this within the next couple of weeks, so I'd like to have this sorted before I get onto that. That's the mission objective. If it's gonna work, let's see. Welcome Game Blocks, hope that you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Welcome JF, hope that you're doing good as well. The chat down there should be fine. It looks fine. It looks good, yeah. Editing software is quite finicky. It is, yeah. I'm using something called OBS, which to be fair is good. The only issue, the main problem with it is that there's constantly updates, and whenever you update it, they always add something brand new. Then you've got to re-familiarize yourself with it. Whereas with the version I had before, it was like 2 years old, because that's just what I'm used to. I didn't want to update it and then have to get used to everything again, but now it has done that, and now I have to get used to everything again. But it's okay. It's one of those things that I always knew was going to happen. I was just trying to temporarily prevent it. But here we are. Let's just get straight into it. There we go. So yeah, hope everyone's doing well. The stream should be good. It just looks very different on my end, but from your end, it should be the exact same, hopefully. So this is what we're trying to do. We're using this... there we go. There's that. We're using this app called Miro, which is what I use for all my video editing... Oh, not video editing. My video mind maps, which you might have seen if you ever watched my best recipe videos, things like that. This is the website that I use. It's called Miro.com. I'm not sponsored to say that. It's just a very good website, and it's free. So, there we go. And what I'm going to be doing is essentially typing in the words turbo. If I can actually spell, that would be like really awesome. And as you can see, we've got 3 recipes for turbo motors. You might be using the basic recipe, but it might be terrible. One of these 2 recipes might be a lot better. But the only way we'll find out is by calculating it. So that's what I'll be doing today. For a better example, I will read the chat in just a second, by the way. I just want to get the intro out the way with, in case people are watching on the VOD. So when the stream's already over, people might be watching again afterwards. Hello. Thank you for watching. This is what we'll be doing. So we're going to have 2 different alternate recipes. Alternate, whatever you like to, whatever words you like to use. And our basic recipe. We're then going to see what resources are needed to make it, like iron, water, limestone, coal. And then at the very end, we'll then compare them to see what you save for what recipe, if that makes sense. Like, you might save, for example, here with the heavy encased frames, you save iron with this middle recipe, you save out on water, you save on limestone, and you save on coal. So the middle recipe, the heavy encased frames for the heavy modular frames, is the best recipe, for example. And, well, in regards of resources and time and effort and power, at least, that is the best recipe. And that's what we'll be doing here today. So let's copy and paste this over across. I gotta do this, don't I? And this is probably going to be quite a chunky recipe, just to warn you now. This is not going to be a small recipe, I don't think. But oh well. When I will be building thermal propulsion rockets, oh dear, you will need turbo motors, but because you have a lot of extra pressure cubes, you will use the pressure turbo motor recipe when I get to that. Yeah, that's a good idea. If you've got a bunch of resources left over, you might as well use it for something else. Saves it going to waste. You use OBS as well. You just don't really use it that much because you don't have a very powerful computer. Yeah, my computer is, well, my computer was good 7 years ago. It's still decent now, but it does struggle in certain games. Like, for a game that came out 7 years ago, like City Skylines, it runs completely fine. But for one of the more recent games, like Planet Zoo, or Satisfactory even, on Ultra Graphics, when the factory gets rather big, it struggles, unfortunately. So, recipe number 1, we'll be dealing with the basic turbo motor recipe. So I'll change the title of this. In case you're wondering what the A's and B's mean, B just means basic, A means alternate. That's fine, I think. Yep, basic turbo motor, fantastic. We then have to, of course, get rid of this stuff down here. We'll very quickly do that. And that, then I can do this. We're most likely going to have to end up moving this thing down. I'm not sure how big this recipe is going to end up being, but I know that it's going to be relatively big. And for now, oh, I knew I was going to do that. That's okay. For now, I'll just move this up here, just so it makes it a bit easier to edit. Because sometimes when you have these things overlapping, and you want to try and move one of these, it accidentally moves this instead. So that's why I'm going to be doing that. Just saves a bit of time. One thing I noticed last night with the steel ingots is that the recipe also seems to have different output amounts. For example, one was at 45, the other was 10 per minute. So you save in one area, but yeah. Is it worth it necessarily, right? Because then you have to place down a lot more foundries, which take up a lot more power. So have you got enough power? If not, you might want to use another recipe or build a new power grid, but that takes time. But then you have to do a new power grid anyway, so it's... yeah, it's lots of different things that go into it, right? And how many turbo motors should I make per minute? I feel like 5 is a good amount, because turbo motors are quite a heavy thing to make. We'll do 5 per minute. Nice. That's all good. Okie dokie. And then to make this thing, we are going to need cooling system. Where's this made? The manufacturer. Okay. Is there no liquids involved? Oh, please save me a bunch of time here. Almost. Because that's made in the... oh, that's also made in the manufacturer. So they're all made in the manufacturer. Okay, that's interesting. And of course, what I'll be doing in my video, because don't worry if you guys can't watch this entire stream, I am going to be making a video where I basically condense everything I'm talking about today, which makes it a lot easier to watch. What I'll mention in the video is a few other recipes which one might prefer. I'll do 0.5. There we go. So we're going to need 2 cooling systems. Cooling system 2 per minute. No, sorry, 20 per minute. I timed everything by 10 essentially. Radio control unit is 10 per minute. Damn. Per minute. Motors 20 per minute. Okay. And then rubber, 120 rubber per minute. Okay, so there will be some crude oil being used here. I'm sure there's a way you can probably make rubber without crude oil, maybe. I'm actually not entirely sure. I'll double check here in a second, but this is what I've done, in case you're wondering what I was just typing in there. Cooling system 20 per minute, radio control units 10 per minute, motor 20, and then rubber 120. Which might sound like a lot, but 120 rubber to make, what is it, 5 turbo motors isn't really that bad. It's not too bad. With your heavy budget of frames, you use the heavy encased frames, but because of the dumb thing of making yeah, that's the thing, right? It's such a stupid amount, 2.813 per minute. You overclock to the 3 or 6 per minute, yeah, it just makes more sense, doesn't it? Yeah, that's what I do as well. Like, for this, for example, if this was at 100% clock speed, how much do I make? 1.875 turbo motors per minute, consuming 7 point, like, this is all decimal points except for the rubber. I find that really annoying, but if I was to make 2 per minute, it just rounds everything up perfectly, like 8 cooling systems per minute, 4 radio control units, 8 motors, and 48 rubber. It just rounds everything up. It's a lot easier to do, rather than 1.875, whatever it was. How do you guys know how much to make of something? Okay, this is going to sound really nerdy, and I almost don't recommend you do this, but what I do is I calculate all 4 of the final space elevator parts, all 3 of them, however many there are, and I calculate 1 per minute of each, using the best recipes, which is what I'm doing in my series, Best Recipes. After I do that, I can then see how many raw resources I'm using, like how much iron ore, copper, and then I times that by the amount of raw resources that there are in the world. So let's say I can then make 10 of each of the final space elevator parts. Like 10 ballistic warp devices, 10 AI expansion servers, things like that. And then after I realize, okay, I need 10 of all of them, I can then do the maths to figure out the exact amount of every single item in the game I actually need. So rather than creating, let's say, 2,000 iron rods per minute, then doing all my calculations and realizing, oh crap, I only need like 300 for literally everything in my server, then I've just wasted a bunch of iron, time, effort, power, and all that. I just know, okay, well, I only need to make this amount of this, which then uses to make that, and that makes that. Done. So that's what I do there. It's a very tedious thing, but I think it's incredibly good if you're trying to save on resources and time. It does take more time to begin with, and a lot of maths and calculations, but I kind of like it. It's not spam, by the way. Oh, it's alright. It's fine. Everything worked? Nice. Let's go. Never been past tier 4. Yeah, I can relate to that. I think if it wasn't for my series, I wouldn't be past tier 4 either. Oh, wait, my webcam's sort of overlapping the items here. Give me a minute. How do I move my webcam? Now. That? Okay, that was almost everything. No, damn it. We'll get it done. There we go. It makes everything a bit smaller, but nah, I'm just outside there. That doesn't matter. It's okay. So now we have to try and see how we make our 20 cooling systems. Have I got a recipe for cooling systems? I think I already do. The question is where? That's radio control units. That's heat sinks. Right. I'm sure I've done something with cooling systems before. Have I not? Oh wait, here we go. Cooling system. This uses more heat sinks, rotors, and motors. Damn. Is that the one I've gone with then? Okay, what's the other cooling system recipe? Because I'm pretty sure there's 2, isn't there? Yeah. So, I think this is the one that I went with. And I think I remember the reason why. I save out on a bunch of nitrogen, don't I? I know that you can make nitrogen gas, but this saves on it. So it's heat sinks, motors, nitrogen gas. Yeah, okay. That's what I need to go with. And I have to make 20 of these things? Yeah. That's not actually that bad, because look what I've done over here, right? When I was calculating my... Is that super... Yeah, that supercomputer recipe. Just do that for a sec. Actually, no, I have to copy and paste it. There we go. Because I've already calculated 10 per minute. So all I've got to do now is just double everything I've done here. And that's going to save me like a solid half an hour. That's a lot of time saved right there. It's fantastic. And get rid of this. I don't think we need that. We don't need that. And that's the cooling system for 10 per minute. Okay. So all of this has to change. That's 40 heat sinks. Damn. And then, don't we also have to do heat sinks as well? No. So heat sinks aren't involved in this, but radio control units are. We've already done radio control units. So now I've got to double that as well. Okay, I've actually done most of the calculations for this thing. Motors, we can just do. Rubber, again, we can just do. Wow. That is actually really, really freaking good. Alright, let's start with you then. Luckily, this is all rather basic stuff. For now. It does take some time, but it's one of those things where you can't just snap your fingers and expect it all to work. We're definitely in it for the long haul, but when are we not? It's 27.2. Yeah, thank you for all the support on the channel, by the way, guys. It's been, like, unreal. I was streaming yesterday on Twitch, right? On Twitch, not YouTube, Twitch. And I had to turn off my subscriber notifications because of the amount of people that were subscribing throughout that stream. Even though I wasn't even live on YouTube, we were still gaining viewers and subscribers, which is incredible. 120, 134. But yeah, I mean, the support has just been, like, dope. And the best thing about it is that I'm only making content that I'm enjoying making, which is the main reason as to why I'm not producing a video every single day. I could if I really wanted to, but I wouldn't be enjoying it as much. I'm just taking my time, I'm really enjoying things, and... Again, like, the support has just been extraordinary. 25? Yep, 25. So thank you again for that one, guys. I'll continue making videos as long as I'm enjoying it. And as of right now, I am enjoying it. 13.6. There we go. We'll just say 8 water per minute. Why not? It's like 7.8, but... With water, it's always nice to round up anyway. I always round up with water. Because you might as well make more of it, and have a bit excess, then make a bit less of it, then be completely screwed and have nothing work in your factory. Because it's small things like that that will just screw you up. 125 per minute, 32. Yeah, we are so lucky that I've already calculated all of this. 17.4. And that's just simply 10 water per minute. Okay, so we've already done heat sinks and rotors. Now we're moving on to our stators. 5 stators per minute? That's just not bad, is it? Could be worse. Trust me. It could be so much worse. No, 6.8. Also 6.8. And you lots. Did I do that one? I did. You're 9 per minute. 7.5, I believe. Yep. .8 iron ore per minute with 2.2 water per minute there as well. Like 2.2 water per minute, right? It is nothing. Like, it is absolutely nothing. But of course, it does add up. Like, for example, we are going to have about... What was it? Minus 17, 250. We're going to have about 800 water being consumed in total from this. So yeah, 2.2 water does not sound like a lot, but it does add up. Now, quick wire, I have to change it to 38. 7.6? I know there are websites where you can do this, by the way, but I just prefer doing it manually. 15.2. It does mean that I might make slight mathematical errors, and I have done that in the past, but it's alright. It's not the end of the world. Besides, whenever I start a project, I always double check the maths again. Welcome, Agapo, hope that you're doing well. You see a lot of videos where people use lower tier belts once they've unlocked better ones. Why exactly do they do that? Two main reasons. One is they might want to save on resources, since the higher belts often consume more resources or cost more, so you might want to do that. Second of all, if they're only making like 10 of an item per minute, then they might want to see that item on a conveyor belt. It might look nice on a conveyor belt. So if they were to use like a Mark 5 conveyor belt, where it's like 780 per minute, the item just zooms right past and you haven't really got a time to look at it. Whereas with a Mark 1 belt, you have more time to visually appreciate what you've just made. So there could be multiple different reasons for that. Sometimes I do that myself, but a lot of the time I just use like whatever resource I've got the most lying around, like Mark 4, Mark 5 materials. It's easier for me personally. Why are you there? Make more sense if you were there. Okay. But yeah, everyone's got their different styles though. It doesn't really make much of a difference as long as your conveyor belt is transporting more than what you're making, then you're fine. Like if you're using a Mark 1 belt which can handle 26, I typed in 26, my mind said 26. That can handle 60 items per minute, but you're making 70 items per minute, you're screwed. So, as long as the conveyor belt can handle what you're producing, then it's alright. 5.6. A lot of the reason, like, for example, I do that. I will do it for things like the adaptive control units, because I'm only making like 8 per minute, and I like to see it on the conveyor belts. I'm just gonna say 4 per minute here, saves you doing all the maths. So, I use a Mark 1 rather than a Mark 5, even though I could use a Mark 5, if that makes sense. It's nothing like, game-changing. 45 per minute, I think that is. 24.4. I'll finish this and I'll read the chat. If I get distracted again, I'm gonna forget what I'm doing. Almost done there. Like, this is actually incredible, the amount of speed that we've been able to do this in. Even whilst I'm blabbering on about stuff. 4.7. Testing my brain cells today. That's not good. Did I do this? I did. Didn't do this. And I believe the amount of reinforced iron plates there is correct. It should be 5 reinforced iron plates per minute. That one's 2. Okay, yeah. The final thing we then have to change on our nitrogen gas. 240. And there we go. We have just calculated 20 somethings per minute. Whatever that even was. 20 cooling systems per minute. Have I even ever made a cooling system in this game before? Honestly, I don't even think I have. I never get to the stage of the game. Either my PC crashes or I just, like, die of too much maths. Oh, it's not even lined up. Wait, now it is. Okay. Thanks. It's alright. No problem. It's because it saves resources and sometimes you want to get a 60 per minute exactly. Yeah, exactly. Welcome, Killer DS. Hope that you're doing good today. Welcome to the Twitch stream. Hope that you're well. We are also live on Twitch, by the way, chat. If anyone is a Twitch enjoyer, you might prefer Twitch, then there's always that option for you guys there if you want. Also, the stream is a lot quicker over on Twitch with a much shorter delay. Which, again, some people might prefer, so I give you guys 2 options there. I could always stream over on Kick, but I'm not a criminal, and I think only criminals stream over on Kick. There we go. So that is 20 cooling systems per minute done. And this is only like 1 out of 4 things that we're doing for this turbo mode. And look how chunky this thing is. It's a proper chunky recipe, this is. Radio control units, 10 per minute. Okay, I know what this is going to entail, so, let's do this very quickly. Because again, this is not going to be a small recipe at all. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. Very good news, though, for Call of Duty, is that we have got double XP coming out at 5 PM GMT, which is in, like, 4 hours from now. So I'm probably going to end up streaming until about 5 PM, then just instantly hop on COD, because I've been loving that game recently. I'm definitely in the honeymoon phase of that game, so I'm going to be enjoying that. Okay, let's just see what recipe is the best one here. So this saves you on bauxite. That saves you on water. You save on coal here. You save on copper. You consume way more raw quartz and caterium, but you don't consume iron. What about this recipe? Way more bauxite, a lot less coal. Although, wait a minute. I can get rid of that. That can stay. That's has to stay. So the 12.5 heavy ore residue that I'm making as a byproduct there from the plastic, I can then reuse that back into this recipe. That seems fairly efficient. One challenge you think you have is even if I calculate properly, I always seem to be backed up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like that as well. Even when all the maths seems to be good, sometimes it's just not. And I have to, like, scratch my head to wonder, how is it not right? And sometimes it is, like, a mistake that I've done by accident. And then other times, it's more of me, like, not necessarily making a mistake, but backing up resources. So let's say I make all of my iron ore into iron ingots, and I back that up. So now I've got hundreds of iron ingots left, and then I make the iron plates. It looks like the iron ingots is all backed up because it's not efficient. That's not the case. It's because I had all the iron ingots backed up. So it might look like it's not efficient, but in reality it actually is. So it's more like, well, it's still technically my... Is it a mistake? Playstyle? I don't know. But it's my fault. Welcome Annihilator. It's snowing here. Oh, nice. You don't have to say exactly where you live, but like what country or what region do you live in? I'm gonna guess Canada. That's just a guess, though. You're outside for 30 minutes and your beard is frozen. Oh, I wish it snowed here. We never get snow down here. Never. It's really annoying. There's always snow in Scotland, and London it snowed a few times recently. Wales normally gets a fair amount. But not really down here, though. Whenever it does snow, it's like a tiny little bit. But it is what it is. So, what actually goes into these recipes? So the radio control unit, oh, sorry, connection unit, we are making heat sinks, high-speed connectors, and then just quartz crystal. That's extremely simple. Okay. And then this we are making computers. Ooh. Crystal oscillators. Ugh. And then, ugh. 20 heat sinks per minute. Don't I need heat sinks for this? I do. So if I was to use that heat sink recipe, I can then combine those 20 heat sinks and the 40 heat sinks together to make 60 heat sinks per minute. Actually, wait, no, actually, another 40 per minute, because this is only half what we actually need. That seems a lot easier. And over here, we're making crystal oscillators. I don't really want to get involved in that. So I think for this, we'll go with the radio connection unit recipe, which is already done for us, because I've already made a video talking about this. Isn't that handy? I mean, it just works out. The only problem, though, is that we have to double everything, because for this one we calculated 5 per minute, but here we're going to need 10 per minute. But that's a very simple thing to do. As we've... Oh, dear. That's not really what I wanted there. Oh, you live in Finland. Oh, wow. Good old Suomi. I know a few people from Finland. It's always voted like the happiest place to live in, but every Finnish guy that I know is always so depressed. It seems like a nice place, like the quality of life seems good in Finland. Ooh. Same with places like the Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, lots of Europe, really, the quality of life seems really good. Whereas here in the UK, it's just pain. Double everything here. I think what I have to do is like do this, I do one section, then read chat. Because if I read chat halfway through, I'm just gonna forget what I'm doing. And then I'll make a mistake, and then I'll probably cry a little bit. Have like a small emotional breakdown. Yo! The backliner, thank you very much for the sub. Thank you very much, man. That's very kind of you. Welcome to the channel, and I hope that you enjoy your stay. I mean, to be fair, that's a pretty good way of distracting. I forgot what I was doing now. So we've done that. Did I do this side? Okay, I didn't do this one. Oh, dear me, it already starts. Wait, did I not do this? I actually haven't. Wait, no, I've done that one. It's just a lot, okay. Good. So 266. 224. Then same here as well. It is quite a lot of bauxite. It is. But you could always just make bauxite from copper, can't you? I believe it's copper and deuterium. Although that might also be for nitrogen gas. Copper. Oh no, it is copper and deuterium. Yeah. So, in case you missed my video from a couple days ago, essentially what you can do, and this is actually really handy, is that you can turn your copper, which if you really wanted to, you can make sulfur and quartz into copper. Don't really recommend doing that. But you can turn your copper into bauxite, then your bauxite into nitrogen gas. Or you can also turn your bauxite into uranium ore. And of course, you can then use the uranium for nuclear stuff. Wait, what? Is that a new animation? I've never seen that before. Can I try and zoom into this? I've generally never seen this before. See that animation right there? Is that new? Unless I've been living under a rock for the last, like, 4 years, I don't think. That's an old... That must be new. Yep. Okay, regardless. I mean, this is why the converter is one of my favorite things in the entire game. Not to mention that you can quite literally make excited photonic matter for free. And you can also make dark matter residue here as well. So if you need more dark matter residue, which you can make as a byproduct from the quantum encoder, I believe every single thing here has dark matter residue as a byproduct. Yeah. Absolutely everything does. If you need more of it, you can just make it in here. What else can you even make in here? Diamond crystals, obviously. Oh yeah, pink diamonds. This can be a very good recipe. A very, very good recipe. If you don't want to use much coal. You still have to consume a decent amount. That's 120 per minute. But you still end up saving, like, a good amount. Because that's 120 coal for 15 diamonds. Okay, 120 for 15. Whereas here, it's 300 coal per minute. So it's like, what, 2.5 times better or something? Yeah, 2.5 times... Quick maths right there. 2.5 times better than this basic recipe. Of course, though, you have to then use a rather good amount of quartz crystal. That's only 45 quartz crystals per minute to make 15 diamonds. And of course, you could just come into the refinery and then use this recipe as well. And then to make your 45 quartz crystals, you only need about 60 raw quartz. Which is, like, not that bad at all. It's 57.857. So... not bad. It consumes a lot of power because you have to build the refinery, then build the converter, and then another converter? You want your diamonds to then go into the timer crystals, yeah. Then time crystals then go into what? We're a bit off topic here. Oh, they actually go into quite a lot of stuff. Yeah, fair enough. Radioactive items have that static. The more radioactive it is, the stronger the static. Ah, okay. That's fair enough. That's actually a really cool feature. So I think we've done everything here now, haven't we? Have I touched copper sheets yet? Is that our next part? 60 copper sheets here. I'm going to double all of it, don't we? Yep. Okay. This is rather basic to do. And again, this copper sheet recipe is fantastic if you don't mind using a good amount of water. I'll give you the reason for that. Right here, we're trying to make 120 copper sheets per minute. 120 copper sheets per minute. If I was to make it in the constructor, like most people do, which is nothing wrong with doing it, if I'm honest, that's going to cost us 240 copper ingots. Okay, 240. With this recipe, it only costs us 48 copper ore. And of course, again, 240 copper ingots goes straight into 240 copper ore. It's 240 ore into 240 ingots. Whereas here, it's just 48 because of the water recipes. So you save like 5 times the amount of copper if you were to do that recipe. However, it does require 2 different stages of refineries, which is like a lot more power. And space, obviously, as well. Okay, regardless, back to this, though. High-speed connector is going to double this, double it and give it to the next person. Except the next person's me. Fun. Go 250. Change you to 20. Nice little 44 down there. What's that? 44 copper sheets. I mean, as we just saw in the previous recipe, that wouldn't be that expensive at all. Great. I am slightly concerned, though, by the amount of Caterium and quartz that we're using in this recipe. It's not cheap. But I feel like if you were just to save, like, if you were to go with recipes that never use Caterium or never use quartz crystals, what are you going to end up using it for, right? It's there to be used. And if you want more of it, use the converter. If the converter costs a lot of power, then have better power infrastructure. 17.6. And now that you can literally make uranium in the converter now. So that gives us a lot of possibilities. And the final thing we have to do is this. 140, 156. And 86. And that right there is 10 radio control units per minute. Look at that. That's exactly the exact... Oh, I should have actually just copy and paste that, shouldn't I? 40 heat sinks per minute. And then 40 heat sinks per minute. And that should be the exact same recipe as well, right? Yeah. 120, 32, 48. Yeah. I don't think that's correct. That's better now, I think. Yes. Okay, fantastic. The last 2 things you now need to make is 20 motors per minute and 120 rubber. I'll probably get the rubber out of the way with first. I think I've done a similar calculation here. Yeah. It's not exactly what we need, but it's a bit easier to figure out if I do this. Want all that. There we go. Just get this out of the way with. You notice something about one of those recipes? You have to save on Caterium for quick wire. If you use the fused wire recipe that combines copper for a lot more quick wire, it does, yes. It does. You can do that if you so wish. Right, so this is 50 per minute. What I could do is divide everything here by 5, then times it by 12. Then, I mean, that would work. Because 50 divided by 5 is 10, times it by 12 is 120. That's what we need. I think we'll do that. So, 25 divided by 5. 5. And times that by 12. 60 per minute. Okay. 60 plastic per minute. We then have to do 12.5 divided by 5. I should have probably known that was 2.5. 30. So we're now making 30 heavy oil residue as a an excess resource. And for crude oil, this is going to be a bit of a tough one. 37.5 divided by 5. And 7.5 times by 12, meaning we are consuming 90 crude oil for our rubber. In theory, it's actually going to be a lot less than that if I do everything right, which is almost borderline impossible for me. But we'll try. We'll try. 25 divided by 5, 5 times that by 12 is again 60 per minute, so that's 60 water per minute that we have to use. Polymer resin. Okay, so this is how much polymer resin that we're going to get as a byproduct from the heavy oil residue. Actually, no. That won't be a thing. Because the heavy oil residue is a byproduct from our plastic. You can't get a byproduct from a byproduct. So the heavy oil residue goes straight into the fuel there. So we actually don't get any polymer resin from this. Okay. So I believe that this is what we're working with here. It should be, if I'm correct at least, 60 plastic plus 60 fuel per minute makes 120 rubber. I think that is actually correct. The maths does sound correct there. 25, 25, 50, yep. So these two are half of what that is. And then everything else is just correct. That's not really that bad. Like 60 water per minute and essentially 90 crude oil per minute makes the 120 rubber. I know it's rather confusing, but it's not that bad. There's not really a point to do the convert uranium thing except for nukes, because with the uranium you can just make 380,000 megawatts of power, and with the plutonium you can make like another 760. Yeah, exactly. That's why I think it's potentially important, because there is enough uranium in the world to make a lot of power. A lot. However, you might want to use uranium for other stuff as well, as you say, nukes, for example. And I think uranium is also used for other things that's non-power related. But yeah, it's always there in case players do want to make some sort of like crazy power structure. Okay, 20 motors per minute. I'm sure I've calculated something similar to that before. Let's have a quick look. Nothing there. And where are these motors? Definitely have, haven't we? That's... okay, motors are a bit more costly than I thought. That's only 5 per minute. So I've got to times everything here by 4. Did I not use it anywhere else? I'll just have a quick double check. I don't think I did, actually. Okay. Have I not made a video talking about the best motor recipes? I feel like that's probably a bit more important, didn't I? I've actually got to double check on my channel. I don't even know what videos I've even made anymore. Motors. Made of rotors? Would you guys like to see a video where I compare the motor recipes? 73,000? What the heck? Oh, wow. Sorry, I don't pay attention to my own channel. 73. Damn. Holy crap. I must have done. That's such an important video to make. Have I just chinned that off completely? I think I actually might have. I can't see it here. Okay, that's probably a much more important video to make. No, I must have done. No, I definitely have. Best motor recipe. That's before the phase 1 stuff. I actually haven't. Wow. I know that I made this video where I do actually end up talking a bit more about the motors, but I didn't do like an in-depth analysis on it. Because as you can see, that video is like about 19 minutes long. But then when you actually look at some of the things inside of that video, like the heavy modular frames, just talking about the heavy modular frames in itself is 13 minutes long. Rotors is another 13 minutes. Some other stuff here as well, 20 minutes there for the supercomputers, because there was a lot to analyze in that, to be honest. Okay, I'll do that then. I'll do that. So let's probably do that right now. I know I said that today's stream was going to be about turbo motors, but I feel like this is kind of important to do. And that will definitely help newer players as well, because not many people have probably reached the stage of turbo motors just yet. Whereas I feel like motors, a lot of people have got up to, or are about to get up to. And they're definitely using the basic recipe, because they haven't really unlocked many alternates. Especially not this one that involves the electromagnetic control rod. You make your motors out of only iron. Yeah, that's a good idea, Mad Dog. Yeah. I believe you can do that with this recipe, can't you? No. Wait. Yeah, you can. Because with the stators, you can use the iron steel rods, the iron wire, to make stators only using iron. Then for rotors, you can then do the basic recipe, which requires iron rods and screws made from iron. Or you could do the alternate steel rotor recipe, which again uses the iron steel rods or the iron wire to make the iron rotors. I'll probably do, yeah. Okay. Welcome to the Mr. Extreme over on Twitch. Hope that you're doing good. The stream says you're playing COD. Does it? Finding the best recipe. Oh, the game said. Okay, right. Why is it doing that then? No, we're not doing Call of Duty today. No. Why has it done that? I probably know why. My stream settings have reset itself last night. I was talking about that a bit towards the start of the stream. But yeah, I do apologize for that. Thank you to everyone who's watching over on Twitch, by the way. It's a pleasure to have you guys tuning in. And I think what we're going to start doing now is we're going to give this recipe a quick break. Why is that there? And we're going to do motors now. Because I feel like motors is a bit more important for what we're trying to do. So I'll cover this. So. And look how big this recipe is, by the way. I mean, we haven't even touched motors yet. That's a massive recipe. Oh my days, man. Okay, motors. I'm over here for this. I'll probably have this video out on the channel next week. And how many motors do I need over here? It's... I think I'll do 5 per minute. There's a reason for that. I can save myself a lot of time here. So 5 per minute. I think... Oh, you know what I did? I did do the calculations for this. I did it on paper. I didn't do it on this app. So I have already done all of this. But not on this app. And it'll be easier to do it here. It's easier to understand at least. Well, I hope it is. So, what do we need for you then? We make all of them in the assembler? No, the last one's made in the manufacturer. Okay. We'll start with the basic though. Oh, you like Satisfactory more, so no worries? Oh, okay. Grand. I'm glad. So you only need rotors and stators. And what I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to show like a minimum of 4 different examples. I'll show all 3 of the recipes used to make the motors. And then at the end of the video, I'll show you how to make the iron motors, where it's motors using just iron. As Mad Dog pointed out in the chat, a lot of people might prefer that. Because like I mentioned in a few of my videos now, it's a lot easier to find one node rather than finding 4 different nodes. Like iron and coal and copper and limestone, for an example, right? So we're going to need 10 rotors per minute. Is that it? No, that's rotor. There we go. 10 rotors per minute. And 10 stators per minute. Oh, Juzam, thank you very much for the sub. Thank you very much for that. It's extremely kind. Yeah, thank you very much for the sub. That was very kind of you. Now, when it comes to rotors, I think ooh. What did I mention in my video? I made a video talking about this. I can just double check now, can't I? Is that it? Nope. 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 Oh, yes. Here it is. So the best recipe for this, for the rotors, is this. This is the iron rotor recipe, which again, I'll be using later on in the video. Otherwise, I'll just stick to the basic rotor recipe because I feel like this is actually pretty decent as well. It is, in theory, right? In theory, in case you didn't see the video, I'll quickly summarize where I talk about all the rotors. This recipe is kind of better when you first look at it, because it only consumes 112.5 iron ingots to make 10 rotors, whereas this recipe consumes, I think it's like 1.4 more or something. 80, over here, isn't it? Yeah, 113.4, and that's compared to the 112.5. So you might look at that and think, okay, well, the basic recipe consumes less iron. I'm just going to use the basic recipe. Until you actually break it down. The basic recipe requires 4 smelters and 9 constructors, 3 assemblers, which will be consuming 97 megawatts of power. Whereas the one with the alternate recipes consumes needs 4 smelters, the same amount, 4 constructors, which is way less than the basic recipe, 2 assemblers, which again is less than the basic recipe, and it only consumes 62 megawatts of power rather than 97. This is like, it saves you 1/3 of your power. So just because it consumes 1.2 whatever more iron ore per minute, it's actually better. Especially when you're trying to build a blueprint factory where you try and fit everything into like one blueprint. This is just so much better. But of course, for now, I'm just using this because it's the basic recipe. Where are we going? We're going over here. Oh, feck. We'll get rid of... No! We'll get rid of... Wait, that's already 10? Ah. It's already done it... Wow. Past me calculating the exact amount of rotors that I need. Isn't that kind? And then 10 stators per minute. I don't think I've actually calculated stators. Have I made a video? I probably haven't, have I? Oh, yeah, this is the reason as to why, because there's only 2 main recipes. And I think I'll just use the basic recipe here. Seems a bit easier. Where am I going? There I am. None of it's done that. To be fair, I can probably just calculate this without doing any of this sort of shenanigans. There we go. Okay, we've got a poem written by Mr. Extreme. The problem is that I have, you've hit a big-ass brick wall in Satisfactory. You have a Lumen / GFX related problem that most people don't care about. But you have 2.2 thousand hours in the game, damn. Where you have started to go down in the design stuff. However, let's say I have a foundation box that is 3 × 10 large, okay. With some height to it, some height to move around in. So, since there is just 3 main ways to light up stuff in the game, in factories or outside, you wanted to use signs as a light source. Yeah, that's what I do as well. I feel like the actual lighting in the game isn't great, especially the ceiling light. It's massive. When you're doing big projects, it's fine, but when you're doing smaller projects and you just want to have a light in the ceiling, and then you have that massive, like, 1.2 size foundation ceiling light, it's just like, oh, it's a bit too much. I can understand that. Well, there's an odd problem. You've made a light pole with some signs in the corner of this box of yours. If I'm 5 foundations or closer, not looking at the sign, it all works. The lights emit and they light up the room and surrounding you using lumen. However, if I'm 6 foundations away or more, there is no light, unless I move slightly to the side and include some of the pixels in the sign itself. Then it all starts to light up again. Yeah, it's a bit weird, the lighting in the game. That's definitely one thing I hope they can improve on a little bit in the game, is the lighting. Because it's not necessarily bad, it just... I wish there was more of it. Because right now, like yourself, I mostly just use signs for lighting. But I would also like some actual, like, lights for lighting. I feel like that would make more sense. 10 stators per minute, we can just make that in here. I'll stick to the basic recipe for now. Although I will mention to the viewers, when they watch the video, if you watch the video, that you can also do some alternate recipes here as well. We need 30 steel pipes and 80 wire. Okay. Not too bad. Is that lined up? Not even close. Why is that so far down? There we go. 30 steel pipe, 80 wire. Bum, 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 bum. Oh! Mad Pink DK.
Madame Pink soapshreebet.
Oh, Madame. Ah. I don't know what my brain was trying to say there. Thank you very much for the sub. That's extremely kind. Welcome to the channel. And I hope that you enjoy your stay. Thank you very much for the sub. I thought your name there was like Mad and Pink. No, Madame Pink probably makes a bit more sense. Steel pipe 30 per minute. Now, when it comes to steel pipes, there's a couple different recipes you can use. You can use the basic recipe, and there's nothing really wrong with this recipe. It does the job. You can use the iron recipe, which I'll talk about a bit later on. But for this recipe, it's a 3:2 ratio. So, for every 3 steel ingots, you can get 2 steel pipes, essentially. Not bad. My favorite steel pipe recipe, though, is this one. Molded steel pipe. Because it uses... Yeah, it uses less steel ingots, which of course means it uses less coal, less iron. But it uses concrete. I'll probably end up including this, if I'm honest, into my actual example. But then again, I will mention there are other recipes you can use if you so wish. Steel pipe. Need 30 of these. So that's 30 steel ingots and 18 concrete. Okay. Lovely. We'll then do that. We'll then do that. I'll probably bring you guys in a little bit closer. There we go. Is that it? Yeah, that's a 1-to-1 ratio. That is... So you save 1/3 of your iron and 1/3 of your coal. Actually, you end up saving a lot more coal if you do this next strategy. And that's to do with the steel ingots. Again, when you make your steel ingots, most people use the basic option, where it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you want to try and make 100 steel ingots, you need 100 iron ore and 100 coal per minute. It's not bad. However, if you were to use... Where is she? My favorite recipe. This recipe, to make 100 steel ingots, you only need 66.67 coal and 66.67 iron ingots. Not iron ore, iron ingots. So, the compromise here is that you have to make your iron ingots before making it into steel, which means that you have to consume more smelters or refineries, depending on whichever way you like to make your iron ingots, which obviously ends up consuming more power and a little bit more time. Despite that, you end up saving on generally quite a lot of coal and quite a lot of iron. Again, you save on 1/3 of your coal and you save on 1/3 of your iron. Just by doing this extremely simple step, you can save on resources. Nothing extra, no funny business, just very simple stuff here. And this is what I'll be using for this example, because it's just a lot better than the basic recipe. An affiliate on Twitch. I can't be an affiliate on Twitch because we haven't reached all the criteria. I've done everything, but we're not averaging 3 viewers per stream. I think right now it's like 2.7. We're almost there, but no, I don't mind Twitch. It's just that I can't do it. We haven't reached the criteria. It's 20 iron ingots, 20 coal per minute. And then for your iron ingots, I'm just going to do the simple recipe here in the smelter, which is a 1-to-1 ratio. 20 iron ore makes 20 iron ingots, but as I'm sure most of you guys know by now, you can go into the refinery and use something called pure recipes. I absolutely love these recipes, more than life itself almost, where essentially you can make these ingots for a much cheaper cost than the constructor. The downsides, like, again, most of you may know, it consumes more power, the refinery is massive, and you need water. For the water, you then have to place down water extractors. That costs you power. You then have to take your water to the refinery. Are you going to transport it by a vehicle? If so, those vehicle stations require power and extra resources and time, and it's more effort, is what I'm trying to say, right? It's more effort. But you do end up saving a good amount of stuff, to be fair. But again, for this example, I'll just be sticking with the basic recipe, because it's a lot easier to explain. But of course, I will mention in the video that you can use the refinery recipes. Which, do I actually use them for this? I do, because this is a much bigger recipe. Hence why I'm fine with doing it there, to be honest. I'm okay with that. And coal per minute, that's fine. Wire, I'm gonna go for the basic wire recipe for this example. My next, well, not for my other 2 alternate recipes, again, I'll stick with the basics. The usual recipes, but then for my final example, I'll then start to use a bunch of different alternate recipes in here. Oh, nice. I don't know what word I just spelt there, but that wasn't ingots. There we go. Is that lined up? Grand. No, what are you doing? Okay. We'll do that and change this to there, I think. Maybe make it a little bit lighter. One more. Is that correct? I think that's now correct. Yeah, it is. Fantastic. And that's how you make basically just the basic motor recipe. I have used a couple alternate recipes, I have also used the iron ingot into screws called the cast screw recipe because it's just so much better. Saves you just a bunch of time. You're literally just saying that, but for beams, you wish the numbers on that were better. So instead of using 24 ingots to 9 beams, it would be nicer if it was 8 because it's 3 to 1. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Because as of right now, it's like a 2.5 to 1 or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's not very fun. Oh well. Okay. So that state is done, and that's the rotors. That's our basic recipe down now finished. Brilliant. And bring you down a little bit. And bring you across. And in total, I don't even think we're using that many like items, are we? Like, resource-wise. There we go. Oh, I've already got that down there. Oh, okay. So it's 112.5 iron ingots. Ore, sorry, actually, that should be ore. Why has it just duplicated that? Why is that so expensive? That's fine. So for iron ore, we are can I... See, this is what I mean. That's why I try and move that out of the way with... 112.5 plus 20, that's 132.5. Water, 0. Limestone, 0. Changes to copper. Where it's 20 per minute each, I believe. No, 40 copper ore. Damn. There we go, have the 2 ores next to each other. And that's what we need to make for the basic recipe. It's not terrible, but it's something we can most definitely, and we will most definitely improve on. There's a very simple way to do that, which again I'll show you in just a minute. This is the basic motor recipe. Moving on now. We're going to be taking our first alternate recipe of the day. About time. Like what? An hour in? Yeah, an hour in. I don't know how long today's stream is going to be, by the way. Have you tried Satisfactory Modeler in Steam? No. I have not. What's this recipe called? The electric motor. Okay. Electric motor. And you require electromagnetic control rods. Right. And rotors. But you require less. Yeah, you require 5 less rotors. The first one. Okay. It's not bad. But you do also require 2.5 electromagnetic control rods, which is a bit bad. Welcome back, Agapo. I know this is kind of random, but you've been listening to you as I'm building an aluminium factory. You got a nice voice. Oh, thank you very much. I'm very glad that you like it. It's one of those things where when I first started making videos, I hated my voice. I never really listened to my voice, ever, in my life. Until I started making content. And then I started using a webcam, and it was like, oh, God. So not only do I have to listen to my own voice, but now I've got to watch my face as well. I would rather not. But no, it's, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? Gotta get used to it. Could always be worse. So we've actually got a half view lots. 5, 25, 25, and again 25. Now you lot are going to be 125, and oh dear, 31.25. What an annoying number. That is actually so freaking annoying. But in total, it should be 56.25? 56.25, great. And you don't just have to go. I'm sorry. It's not you, it's you. And now I've got to try and find the best electromagnetic control rod recipe. So for the AI limiters, brick wire and copper sheets. How many do I actually need for this recipe? 2.5. So that's 2.5 AI limiters. Copper sheet, simple to make. Quick wire, simple to obtain. You actually require 2.5 stators. So that means that we're using a quarter of the stators, half the rotors, but we're substituting in 1.25 high-speed connectors, which is quite a lot of stuff. If I was to use that basic recipe though, it means that I can consume quick wire, wire, copper sheets, and silica. Whereas that bottom recipe is deuterium ore, raw quartz, and copper ore. Those are the only 3 things I need to make that. The first one's the exact same. And I know it's only like 1.25 per minute, but I feel like just crafting this would be such a nuisance. Welcome back, Moga. What we're working on? Right now we're trying to calculate 5 motors per minute. And then when I do all 3 of these, I'll then do a 4th example using some of the best recipes in the game for the motors. I'll then record that for a video, and that will be out sometime the next week. And then after we do the best motors, I then have to add that to our turbo motor recipe, which we've already started to work on, and then we'll continue that most likely another day. We'll see how long we can go for today, though. Because again, as of right now, I'm very excited just to hop straight back onto Call of Duty, if I'm honest. I could stream COD on YouTube, I know I can, but I don't really want to stream that game on YouTube, necessarily. So, electromagnetic control rods. And again, that's 2.5 per minute there. Do you not use Satisfactory calculator? Nope. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what I'm trying to do. I do like to try and do it manually though. It just adds a sense of fun into the game, rather than having some sort of like computer generated thing that does it for you. I feel like that's not as fun to do, but you can do that if you so wish. But this way I find it a bit easier in a way, especially when I'm using so many different recipes. And welcome, Reverend Maynard. Hope that you're doing good. So, we have to make up our final choice here. What's this? Oh, I don't want that. I mean, this is actually a really good recipe if you just want to use crude oil. But this uses rubber, which is made from crude oil, and petroleum coke, which is made from heavy oil residue as a byproduct. No, not as a byproduct. Just it's made from heavy oil residue, and heavy oil residue is made from crude oil. So you literally just use crude oil to make this, essentially. I don't see much of a difference between these two. I really don't. For the basic recipe, if I was just to use AI limiters, right? This is only going to require... Actually, I have to do 2. Going to require how much? 12.5 copper sheets and 50 quick wire. It's just not that much, though, is it? What way do I want to get to the beach? The beach? I don't like the beach. You're currently working on your T9 unlock. Damn. But getting all the automation set first. Yeah, it's good to get all that stuff done with. Definitely. I think when it comes to the electromagnetic control rods, what I could do is spend ages calculating the best AI limiter recipe, which, to be honest, I just want to use the basic recipe. Because the second one there uses plastic. I don't really want to use plastic. So we'll do that first one. And the second thing that we can do is... What's it called again? I can never remember what this thing's actually called. Oh, I'm searching in the wrong thing, that's why. Never... High-speed connector. I don't know why I always struggle to remember that. And we're going to need 2.5 of these things. Which is over 100 quick wire? Wait, no, it's 1.25. So it's more quick wire. Plus all the quick wire... No. That's silica and copper, so that's just worse. Honestly, screw it. I think this is the best recipe for it. Yeah. We'll do that. No. The basic electromagnetic control rod recipe, where we use area limiters and stator. Let's do that. Two of them per minute. And stator is 3? No, it's not, is it? I thought it was 2.5. Oh, yeah, wait. Actually, 3.75. Okay. So you're still saving on... 2/3 of your status, which is not too bad. So I think we'll go with that. Nice. Not everyone has access to the manufacturer. Personally, you're in tier 9. Yeah, that's another problem with these recipes, isn't it? Whereas the basic recipe, all you need is an assembler. And you can make all of this. Coal, you can find copper, iron, you can find all that sort of stuff. Fuel pipes, it's not really that difficult to make. If you're already making stators, then you're already making rotors. If you're already making both of these things, you can then just make motors. That almost kind of rhymed there by accident. Whereas this, not everyone has electromagnetic control rods unlocked. But later game, when you do have it unlocked, and you might be wondering, should I switch recipes? Then this is where this recipe might come in handy. Stator 3.75. Air limiters is 2.5. Okay. So for the stator we are going to be needing now, I'll just stick with the basic recipe. I will show you a much better recipe later on for this, but I just want to stick with the basic for now. Then we'll switch later when we have to. Am I going for your favorite wet build? Not for this example, but at the very end I will give an example with the wet stuff in it, yes. The pure ingots and all that jazz. What would be slightly easier to do is actually come back over here. Grab all this stuff in here. And do that. The numbers aren't right, but it's everything that I need for it. Move it over here slightly. I'm not sure how much room those AI limiters are going to need. I'd rather give it its room. So you guys can get a bit closer. There we go. .25 steel pipes. After steel pipes, then have to come back over here to there. Wait a minute. I think I made a mistake. I did, yeah. With this recipe here, I forgot to actually include the concrete parts. I missed one step. It's a very quick fix, it's just a slightly annoying thing. So you gotta go over there. This part here then has to come down. And that then has to go. To get this. And you come back into here. You then go into there. And you create the steel pipes. Steel ingot. The electromagnetic control rods, I would consider the copper rotors. Oh yeah, again, I'm just using like the basic stuff for now. But then in my last couple of examples, I'll then start to use the better, less basic stuff, essentially. Steel pipes in the foundry is good for getting one for it. Yeah, it is good. The molded steel pipe and the molded steel beam is also very good as well. I think that's now correct. Well, except for the amount of steel ingots I actually need. Just 30. And 30 ingots go straight into 30 steel pipe. Yeah. And now we just need 18 concrete over here. And times that by 3, that's how much limestone I then need. It's good that we managed to notice that. If I didn't, I would have been screwed. Go. 6, 8, 16, 24, 54 limestone, I believe that is, per minute. Yep, great. So now this recipe is actually correct. Had to do a very slight change there, but everything should be fine now. There. Why have you decided to go and strike? Thank you. Now I can select all of this. If you guys in slightly... I don't know why you're so far away. Because I put you there, didn't I? Why are these two recipes so far away? Make it a bit more compact. There we go. That's it. And now this is the proper recipe for our status. Do that. And we'll do this. Move you over there a little bit. Great. I'm going to redo the numbers there a little bit, but the numbers are fine. The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? Yep, that was a Call of Duty reference. Okay. I think everything's good now. Oh, the end product. Oh, right, yeah, that's going to take ages to get to. The final thing. But finite tritons and time crystals are making like 80 per minute. Damn. Yeah, anything that involves diamonds is just instantly expensive. Which seems like real life, I suppose, isn't it? Shouldn't be that surprised. 1.25, and that's 30 wire there per minute. 30 wire per minute requires 15 copper ingots. And that requires 15 copper ore. With the 11.25 steel pipes, you basically end up saving a third of your resources here. That's not bad. It's not exactly a third, but it's more like 30% rather than 33%. It's still pretty decent though. So it's that's 11.25 steel ingots. That's a 1-to-1 ratio, so that is indeed correct. And that's 6.75 concrete. Sums up by 3. 2.25, is that? 2.25? Is it 20.25 per minute? Limestone. I don't think that's right. It is right. Great. Where is it? I did not realize how many ingots you can make in this thing. Damn. 11.25 again. That's not 25. 7.5 each. So, this is what we have for the stators, 3.75 per minute. Zoom in a little bit, there we go. We've got the wire, we've got the copper stuff, concrete stuff, coal and iron. This is the problem with using the stator recipe, is you use iron, you use coal, you use limestone, and you use copper. Hey, thank you very much to World Breaker 78 for the sub over on YouTube.
Worldbreaker 78 сообщребетати channel.
Thank you very much for the sub, that's extremely kind. I do greatly appreciate that. And welcome to the channel. Good to have you here. That was the wrong button. Oh dear. There we go. One less, maybe? No, one more, okay. Great. I will show you a recipe later on that saves you this pain. I do end up highlighting that as well. Also, wait, I've got to do this now, don't I? Limestone, 54 per minute. Damn. These aren't cheap recipes. Brilliant. The final thing that we then have to try and calculate now is our AI limiters. And I don't know how much goes into this. I don't think, at least. So what was the other motor recipe I calculated then? Oh, here we go. We've already got 5 AI limiters. And how much is it that I need? Is it 2? 2.5. Okay, so I can just half that. Undo. Seems relatively cheap. Welcome, Hydra. Satisfactory calculator? No, I like doing it the fun way rather than the copy and paste settings into a bot way. There we go. And we'll do this and that. Perfect. Then half all of this then. And do that there as well. Oh. 5. That's 3.5. These ones are a bit easier to do, luckily, I believe. Yes. And there we go. In just a few seconds there, we've now got our motor alternate recipe. Fantastic. Definitely not a cheap recipe, is it? Oh well. Would it be worth it? Oh well. You think you might do that? Yeah, it's up to you. I won't stop you from using the AI to help you. Okay. Is that it now? I think that's it. The one thing I did say I was going to change was this, wasn't I? To that. There we go. Great. I'm probably going to end up getting rid of this. Since I'm not doing that anywhere else, there's no point me doing it there. This is not going to be a cheap recipe, is it? I can already tell. So for iron ore, we are going to have 25 plus 31.25 plus 7.5, and that's it. Nice, I didn't even type that into the right thing. So 63.75. And when it comes to copper, we need 5, 20 in total. When it comes to coal, we need 7.5. That's it. However, we're going to be needing a lot more stuff than just that. Water, we are going to be needing 12, 16, 36 per minute. Which isn't actually that much. That's like just over a third of a water extractor. A quarter? No, it's under a third. Under a third more than a quarter. It's not too bad. Deuterium. We're going to need 20 per minute, and I think that's it. Yeah. So we'll have a very quickly look at the recipes. I have painted this one in green just to make it slightly different to the blue one over here. So for this recipe, we need 63.7. Actually, what we'll do, make life a bit easier for us. We've still got one more recipe to look at, by the way. Second recipe requires way less iron. It requires less copper, and that's only because I'm using this water sheets recipe. If I wasn't using the water sheets, then it would be a lot more copper. It's less coal. However, it does require water, and it does require deuterium. Only 20 ore per minute, which isn't really that bad. So I'll keep that there for now, why not? Got one more recipe to have a look at, and then I'll show you guys potentially a really good recipe. I've got no idea if it's even going to be good or not. But it sounds good on paper. So we'll see. Yeah, today's stream might only be a couple hours long, by the way. I can just feel my throat dying, and I don't really want to get a sore throat. Especially not because it's starting to get colder outside, and if I get a bad cold, that's me not making videos for 2 weeks. I'd rather not ruin myself. So the last recipe is not made here. I'll have to use crystal oscillators. Oh, such a nightmare. We're using 2.5 rotors, which is a quarter of what we were using before. 2.5 stators, which is a quarter of what we were using before. But we have to have almost one crystal oscillator per minute, which I believe I use the basic recipe because I don't want to get involved with rubber. That's all crude oil sort of stuff. So for this recipe, we have to consume iron, copper, and limestone, and coal, and quartz crystals. And water, right? If you want to use the fancy recipes. Although, honestly, now that I'm looking at this, I almost don't want to use these water recipes, because I feel like that's almost taking away from things. So let's try and calculate this without the water recipes. Because if I'm using the pure ingots for one recipe, I might as well do it for all of them. But if the other two recipes aren't going to have it, why am I just doing it for one? That doesn't make the comparison fair. Nice, I'm very intelligent. I can already tell this is going to be a lot. Oh wait, actually, it's only 25, isn't it? So it's 5 times more than what we were making or using before. Which means that we're actually using the exact same amount of copper. And now our deuterium's about to go up a lot more, isn't it? Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Okay. Process the raw one somewhere else and ship in the ingots. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to have a massive iron factory that's going to be producing, I believe it's motors, rotors, stators, iron ore. Sorry, iron ingots even. Iron plates. Iron rods. And screws. All of that, because literally all of it just requires water and iron ore, if I use the right alternate recipes. So, when I make all my stuff there, I then just ship it out using trains, vehicles, whatever. It goes from point A to point B. And that's why I'm building quite a lot of roads in my new series. Well, I'm going to try and start building a lot more roads. Which will help us out quite a lot. Okay, so we've done that now. Back over here for a quick second. And this is called Rigger Motor. Yeah. I've always called it Ridger Motor. Is it Ridger Motor? This recipe? Ridger Motor sounds like some sort of like lost ancient city in Peru. Welcome to Ridger Motor. Oh. Or. There we go. Right. 5 of you guys per minute. So we're going to need 2.5 rotors. Which we might as well just do right now, to be fair. It's going to be very, very simple. Just half it again. 12.25, I believe. No, 12.5. Is it? No, it's not. No, it is. Wait. Rigger. Oh, okay. 50... 62.5. Yep. That's correct. Oh, this is going to be an absolute nightmare to calculate. Oh, my days. I could do it on the in-game. I'm going to try and do it mentally first. So, 30 is 15. 125. I believe it's going to be 15.625 is my guess. Nice. $15.625. To be fair, that was actually quite easy to calculate. I had to use more than 3% of my brain power, though. The second part that we then have to try and do is rotors. I'll put you over there for now. Wait, no, it's not rotors, it's stators, isn't it? It's one of the stators. Satisfactory modular. It is stators, okay. So it seems like no matter what you do, you kind of just have to use stators. What we found out. Although these are very weird numbers. If I get that one, at least I can just divide it by 4, can't I? I've noticed, by the way, whenever I stream Satisfactory, I get really tired. I think it's because I'm actually, like, using my brain. It feels like I'm in school. My brain's like, bro, can you just stop using me for a second? Give me a break. However, I will do, to be fair. So divide everything here by 4. It's fairly doable. 7.5. 20. 10. 10. Okay. Ooh, 4.5. There we go. 125 versatile frameworks and ship the electromagnetic control rods to the building from the nuclear plant. Oh, nice. That's going to take a while, but should be good fun, right? Right. That's 4.5. 13.5. 5. 7.5. 5 again. And 5 again. All of our status done. And the final thing that we then need is the crystal oscillator 0.833. What a weird number, man. Like, come on. 0.833 crystal oscillators per minute. Like, just slap me across the face at that point. And don't even say, like, sorry afterwards. What a nightmare. Crimea River oscillators. So, what was it that I needed? Was it was 0.833, wasn't it? Okay. If I was to do this, would it look any better? Ugh. Kill me. Like, honestly, just game end me. It's an absolute nightmare. Although I think what I might try and do is actually look for when I actually use this. But I know I used this somewhere on my computers, didn't I? Bonjour. I knew I'd find you somewhere. First try. Luckily I didn't mess that up, otherwise that would have been really embarrassing. Again, the numbers won't be correct, but the actual layout is correct. For the most part, I actually want to... Oh. I don't want to have the water involved here. I have to calculate that one again. That's easily solvable. Okay, they're actually mostly easily solvable. Why can't I... Hello? Why are you doing that? I just want to move one of you at a time. Not too much to ask. Never seen it do that before. It's really annoying, actually. Okay. Let's try that again. You go over there. You go over here. Control C. Control V. Now you're fine. So my question is to you, why are you acting up? Because it's making me triggered. Is it double C? It's not a double L, okay. Oscillator is such a weird word. Oscillator. Let's do oscillator. Oh, I don't know. Okay, you're gonna go there. We'll then all link up over here as well. Now we've got to do the maths. 15. No. I'm gonna do it over here. That requires 25 raw quartz. It's not bad. It's up, down, forwards, and back. Yeah, yeah. It's just the word oscillator is just a bit weird to me. Because in my mind, it sounds like I'm saying the word otter. Like crystal oscillators, even though, of course, I'm not saying that. But my mind's like, no, you're saying it. Let's just get rid of... What's that one again? Cable is, let's just say 11.7. And then reinforced iron plates is 2.1. Why does it have to be 2.1 and not just 2? Well, like, what, why? What did I do to deserve that? Oh, and of course I've... It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Get rid of you lot for now, just so I know what I've done and what I haven't done. No. Oh. Okay, everything here is now correct. We've already calculated the raw quartz is 25 per minute. 11.7 cable is automatically going to be 23.4 wire. Which is then going to be 11.7 copper ingots. Which would then be 11.7 for ore. Perfect. Reinforced iron plates, that's 2.1 per minute. Like dancing, it is, yeah. Is that the reason why there's a dancing, like, crystal square in the middle of the image? I believe there's one, isn't there? Oh wait, no, not in this one. It's the Superposition oscillator. This. This square is moving. I'm so happy we can finally craft this now. Because it used to be available in Fixmas for the longest time, didn't it? .6 iron plates. Screws, we're going to go with 25.2 per minute. Iron ingots. It's going to be around about... I'm going to have a guess. 19.8. If it's what I remember it being, at least. How much iron plates do we need? 18.9. I said 19.8, did I? Damn it. Yeah, no, that was silly of me. Of course, that then just goes into... It's a 1-to-1 ratio from iron ore to iron ingots. We know it's going to be guaranteed 18.9 iron ore. Why can't it just be 19? Because life says that it can't be 19. That's the reason as to why. Screws, glorious screws. I think I have to do it in here, don't I? There you are. And we are going to be consuming, like 5 point something, right? So okay. I thought it was 1 iron ingot creates 5 screws, but it doesn't. It creates 4 screws. That's my bad. I deeply apologize. What can I say? How can I beg for my forgiveness? What hell, screws? No, screws can go do one. They are an annoyance to my life. Especially just... No, I was gonna say early game, especially every second of the game. They trigger me. Then move you a little bit closer. To about there. Then, oh, what are you doing? Move you down to about here. Move you down to about there. Sure it's lined up. There we go. So everything should be on similar levels. It is. We do this very quickly for presentation reasons. There we go. Great. You have a factory making 5,000 screws a minute just to sink them for fun. If that isn't like the worst sentence that's been said on Twitch, I don't know what is. And to be fair, it is Twitch, so there's been a lot worse. Just watch like an average Hassan Piker stream. He's probably said like some mad stuff. There we go. Why is that a copy? No, that's not a copy. There we go. So now it's the fun part. We have to try and see how many resources we're wasting, using for this project. Or for this recipe. I did not mean to press that. Yo, Jeremy, thank you very much for the sub. Another new subscriber. Wow. Thank you so much. The support has actually been, like, generally unreal. It has been. I wish I could stream this game for longer, but my mind just reaches a wall. And I feel like after I get to that stage, I'm just not enjoying it as much. And if I'm not enjoying it, I then feel like I don't come across as entertaining to watch. And I don't want to get to that stage. I'm already... Well, a lot of people already think I'm not that entertaining to watch anyway, so... I'd rather not increase that. Why can't I type in the number 5? Hello? There we go. The hell was that? That's 18.9. 6.3. 58.325? Oh, what a disgusting number. Oh, actually, no. That's not that bad at all. That's exactly almost exactly. 1 Mark 1 miners, no. 1 Mark 1 conveyor belt's worth of iron. So, it's actually not even that bad. It's just a bit annoying. Also, I should probably change the color of this again, shouldn't I? We'll go with a purple. Yeah, we'll go purple. Haven't gone purple for a while. 58.325. Still a bit of a weird number though, isn't it? Isn't it 825? No. That's correct. We're also going to be using coal for this. Limestone, copper, raw quartz. Rid of that water one as well. We're not using water anymore. I could use water, but I don't really want to. Not for this example, at least. We'll do it for this one here as well. Okay. Next up now, we have got copper, which is 10. 22.7. Oh, that's it. 22.7. Okay. That's definitely the cheapest so far today. Has to be. Got limestone in here as well. Do we not have limestone for this other one? We definitely do. Didn't include it. And you're actually going to go above Ethereum. And then you're consuming 20.25 limestone per minute. Yep. Okay. Did I just get rid of that thing? Damn it. Why did I do that? That's fine now, I think. Yep. Then for you, so we've done copper, we haven't done coal yet. Coal's only 5 per minute. Raw quartz, 25. And limestone is 13.5. Is that it? I swear this recipe is like really freaking good, right? It looks crap. But I think it might actually be really good. Let's see. There's still one more recipe I really want to try and calculate here in just a minute. So when it comes to iron, the final recipe is the best one. When it comes to copper, the final recipe is the best one. When it comes to coal, the final recipe is the best one. When it comes to limestone, the middle recipe is... That's not right. The final recipe is the best one. So the final recipe that we just had a look at is the best recipe. In theory. If you're fine with using raw quartz, at least. I mean, look at that, right? It literally is better in every single way. And paint you all in green. That's a bit too green. Also a bit too green. I think we'll do that. I know it's not green, don't worry. Why can't I move that now? What the hell's going on with this setting stuff today? What is... Hello? What a weird day for my settings. We good now? No more acting? Good? Okay. So the final recipe that I would like to now try and calculate is this one. It's the basic recipe, except just using iron. That's the catch. So that's what I'll do in my video. I'll show all 3 of these recipes. I'll show the conclusion, but then... Dun, 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 I'll then show that. It only takes 138 iron. What, this one that I'm about to calculate? I guess we're about to find out, right? 5 motors per minute. Yep. the screws. What, 5,000 screws only takes 138 iron? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised. I would not be surprised. Because making screws isn't necessarily expensive. If anything, it's actually a really good recipe. That's the reason as to why a lot of people don't like it, because screws was used to make a lot of stuff. Most particularly in, was it computers? And then they removed it from computers or something? They definitely removed screws from something, and a lot of people loved it. I can't remember what it was now. Yeah, thank you very much for the Twitch follow, it's Skyler. I do greatly appreciate that. I can't get, like, notifications on my PC, but I get it through my phone. So I was just double checking there. So, basic motor with... There we go. $15 iron for 60 screws. Yeah, it'll be about that ratio, yeah. It should be 4 times higher. So in theory, you should need... Yeah, that should be correct, right? So if you're making 5,000 screws, you're going to need 125 iron ingots per minute. To do all that. Again, isn't really that bad. Because one of these normal nodes, what should be an impure node? Oh, the heck. Either way, one of these impure nodes, right? I believe you can get 120 iron per minute from it. You're dead, come here. I will end your bloodline, come here. Alas, no more, goodbye. You remove screws from computers, indeed. It requires plastic, circuit boards, screws, and maybe something else. Yeah. Just, no, I don't need to do that. So if I was to do... Production... Mark 1 miner on here. You only get 30 iron per minute from that. With a Mark 3 miner, gets 120. That's still terrible, by the way. 120 per minute. So it's like one Mark 2 miner at 200%, well, a bit more than that, like 205% clock speed. Isn't really that bad for like 5,000 screws per minute, right? Gas! There we go. What was I doing? Oh yeah, 11 herbs and spices. So luckily for our rotor recipe, we've already kind of calculated all of this. I think I've done something similar with our stators as well, although I don't know when and where. Yeah. So that's one of the recipes that I want to try and use, and that's for 10 rotors per minute, which is exactly what I need, so that's actually really good. You smell. There we go, thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to say something so rude. I do apologize, that was very offensive. As I was literally talking to myself there as well, by the way. There we go. Stators. Can do that in here. Yes, indeed we can. And I'll be using the basic recipe again, except despite me using the basic recipe, it's not actually going to be basic. It's going to be rather interesting. Because our stators also require, I just realized now, by the way, the exact same things from over here. Maybe not the exact same number, but Same items, at least. And the fact these two aren't even... Wait, is there 3 arrows there? Where's that third arrow even going? Oh, there was only 2, okay. So that's correct. You have to move a bit more. If I can. Lovely. So the numbers here won't be correct, right? No, it's actually a lot more expensive. Not massively expensive, but it is going to cost us more. So would it be worth it? I really don't know. So it's going to be like 400 iron per minute or something. Have you considered doing videos on the least amount of effort for a given item? It's a different kind of efficiency, like making an advanced item using alternate recipes and just iron. Yes, I have. But the issue is with a video like that, people will just complain. Because, for example, something like this, right? I'm building this recipe, 5 motors per minute, and the only thing it requires is iron. That's it. Compare it to this recipe, which requires iron, copper, coal, raw quartz, limestone, manufacturers, crystal oscillators, and all this other stuff, which is a bit of a nightmare to try and make, despite it being the best recipe, right? In theory. It requires a lot of effort. But the issue with a video like that is that people will just comment saying, well, you say it's the easiest recipe, but have you calculated the power? When I do calculate the power, they'll say, okay, well, it's a lot of iron. It's like, yes, it's like 2 nodes of iron compared to 7 different nodes of 7 different other, raw resources. So it's a good video idea, but people will just, again, will find a way to complain about it. If people would like to see that, then yeah, I suppose I could do something like that. I think it would be a good idea. 30 steel pipes. And we're using this recipe, aren't we? Steel pipe? Yeah, the iron pipe. 120, damn. And then the wire recipe as well, which I believe is it also made here? I feel like it is. Nice. W. That's really what I was trying to type in there. It really was, honestly. It's 45. There we go. And welcome, Obeda X. Hope that you're doing well. Welcome to the live stream. So now in theory, we can actually combine all 4 of these together, can't we? Okay, what's the damage looking like? 200, 245, 278.4. Yeah. No, that can't be right. Is it right? That's not bad. Because, like, the thing is, right? 278.4 iron ore sounds like a lot. But it's not. That's a Mark II miner at full efficiency. 250%, right? You can make 300 iron ore per minute with the Mark II. Just a Mark II, not even a Mark III, right? On a normal node, not even a pure node. Pure nodes you can make 600 iron ore per minute, but for normal you can make 300 per minute. And bear in mind, you are making motors here. So I feel like this is the easiest recipe. Chat might agree. I mean, do comment on the live chat or in the video description down below, or the video comments down below if you're watching on the video afterwards. Would you say that this is the easiest motor recipe? Because I feel like when compared to the other recipes that are using things like, again, crystal oscillators and electromagnetic control rods, that this just seems to be so much simpler. It is a lot of iron ore. Especially if you're trying to make like 50 motors, that's like almost 3,000 motors, right? What, 3,000 iron ore? So it does start to add up when you need more motors. It does. But I feel like early game, it's not that bad. Especially again, if you want it just to be a nice simple recipe. If you are trying to save on resources, and if you've got like a bunch of stuff lying around, you can go with this. This is the cheapest, and some may say the best recipe for motors in Satisfactory 1.0. Because you save more iron, you save more copper, you save more coal, and you save more limestone compared to the other two recipes. However, you do consume raw quartz. Only 25 per minute, it's nothing. Like, 25 per minute is nothing, right? Is there any way I can make this recipe better? I could do some of the water tricks. Let's try and see that. I'll go the extra mile here. Because I'm feeling kind, okay? I don't often feel kind, so... so I appreciate the moment. No, I'm joking, obviously. Right, let's do this then. $12.5. Okay. So you lots... I'm gonna go back to what you were before. I think it was that, wasn't it? It is, yes. I'm going to end up changing this. I moved everything there. There we go. You still? Yeah, I could do that. Iron wire. Yeah, that's the thing, right? If I didn't use iron wire, I'll just be using a fraction of the amount of iron ore. Actually, it's mostly the steel pipe that consumes the most iron, but then you are saving on coal, so I feel like that's rather important. If I was to use wire, I would be using 70... yeah. 70 copper ore instead. So it would be about... no, exactly 200 iron ore and 70 copper ore. If you didn't want to use iron wire. Which is still not that bad, to be honest. They're both pretty decent. Inject oil products to make it cheaper for the more expensive recipes. You could do that, but I like to try and save my oil. I'm definitely a big fan of saving my crude oil. But then I use all of my fuel for plastic and rubber and for power. And for vehicle transportation. Yeah, the thing is, rubber wire is better, but is it worth getting crude oil involved for all of that? If you're just trying to make a very simple wire recipe, wire's fine by itself. Just use copper. If you haven't got enough copper, use the iron recipe. Iron wire. You can get crude oil involved for the best recipe, but it's very time consuming. And again, it does involve crude oil as well. I forgot what I was doing here. Oh yeah. But yeah, thank you very much to everyone who's watching over on YouTube today. I greatly do appreciate the 5 likes on the stream. Damn. Thank you very much. It's very kind. You can use polymer resin for rubber. That definitely works. That a bit smaller. There we go. Where's that gone? Oh, wait, no, actually, no, I do want that, sorry. There we go. I have to change these two as well. Change that, change that, change that, and then change that. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring it over here just for now. Extend that out and extend that out. We're then going to get... We'll do this. You two, then place your lot down here. You're going to be for iron ore. And then how do I just duplicate that again? Then you're going to be for water. So to make our 12.5 iron ore... Oh, no, actually, I have to get rid of all that stuff. Damn it. There we go. We're going to need 6.75 iron ore, let's just say. And 4 water per minute. Okay. That's such a weird number. Even the game's like, just stop. Go 4.1 water, then we'll go with 8.5 iron ore. 8.42. Have to do it again down to that. Okay, so 5 iron ingots needs 2.7 iron ore. We'll round up there to 2.7. And the fact that we're still rounding up to a decimal place is actually like unbelievable, but that's what it is. Round up there again. Location definitely does matter a lot, yeah. Unless you're trying to build in the grass fields, you're building your plastic and rubber facility in the grass fields. First of all, don't do that, because there's not really any crude oil next to you, so then that's going to be an absolute nightmare having to belt everything together. Whereas if you're building it in the Blue Crater Lake, where there's tons of oil around you, then it'll be a lot easier to try and do. You've also got iron around you, sulfur around you, coal around you, so you can make something like rocket fuel, because that requires iron, which you have near you. It requires nitrogen gas, which you have literally a stone's throw away right behind the blue crater. And in fact, I think it's almost in the blue crater sort of area. And again, you've got your turbo fuel, which is made from the sulfur, which you've got, the crude oil, which you've got, and the coal, which you've got. So it's like the best area to try and make rocket fuel. So location does matter when you are building a project. It can be the difference between logistic work taking 5 minutes and taking 3 days. Like, trust me. Trust me. Concrete. I really like the way that it feels on my face. Okay, so we need 6.75 limestone per minute. Not that bad. And with water, it's about 5.65. We'll go 5.63. I'm being generous today. Actually, that's me being less generous. Doesn't matter. It's great for alloy ingots. But that's on the other side of the map for you. Just unlock trains. Oh, right. Yeah, trains are decent when you know what you're doing. You decided to use an oil packager on a train station to be able to get rid of oil everywhere. Or everywhere you need. The giant power-based stuff is nowhere close, but the oil is useful for other recipes. Oh yeah, definitely. Oil is used for a lot of stuff. Okay, the next thing that we have to try and do now is this. Move all this over a little bit. lined up? It is, yeah. It doesn't want to behave, but it's definitely lined up. Yeah, packaging oil can be very good. I used that in my most recent save, which I like. I prefer it. Definitely. Very good. 10 copper ingots. Yep, that's the one. How much can I even make her? 37.5, that's actually not too bad. Oh, that only requires 4. A nice, wow, we actually have an even number. It's not like 4.77321446. It's actually just like 4. That's mental. 2.6, okay, piss off water. I was actually really happy there for a second. Go 2.7. And of course we can do our raw quartz trick as well with our pure quartz. 25. Just a slightly more expensive recipe. Definitely worth it though. Especially when you're making bulk as well. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Is having all of my quartz going to one place. And then in that place, I'll be then turning all of that into quartz crystals and silica. And then I'll probably end up making something out, maybe even our crystal oscillators. Because our crystal oscillators require quartz crystals, cable, and maybe I won't build that there. But regardless, I do want to have my quartz crystal and silica production in one building. Making thousands of that stuff will be so satisfying. Like, the amount of drones we're going to be having in our save is actually wild. I've already got tons. I've already got 9 drone ports, but we can't use drones just yet, unfortunately. Need a better power source before I can get them all up and running. So when it comes to raw quartz, we're going to be needing 32. 32.2 per minute. And water's going to be about 18 per minute. Just like that. Wait, no. I only need 15 per minute, not 25. Whoops. Yep. Whoops. $11, okay. I mean, that just saves you on resources. That's not even that bad. It just literally saves me on stuff. Copper ingots now. So we can add this down over here. And that out a little bit. There we go, that should be fine. And we'll get you two out here. And the reason why I'm doing this, by the way, is I just want to try and see how many resources I can actually save her. Which I doubt would be a monumental amount, considering this recipe is already the best recipe for us. I'll move you guys down a little bit, I think. Just for now, I actually don't want to connect that. Just so I can remember that I haven't done that just yet. So yep, copper. It's 4.4. And water is about 3 water per minute. Iron ingots, we're going to go with 19. It's 18.9, but 19 is a bit easier just to round up. I believe, at least. Yep. So we go with 10.2 iron ore. and 5.82 water. It's not bad. Okay, and the final thing then now is for the iron ore. Well, 6.3 of it actually. Which is exactly a third? That's exactly a third of what we just calculated. No way. $3.4. I think that's fair, right? Rather than saying 3.392, 3.4 is just a lot easier. Okay, that's what we've got. It's... Why is it so big? That's what she said. It's because it's, I know why. With all the water recipes, that's what makes it massive. So we'll add you back over here. Then select this. Move you out over there. And nudge you over as well. Fantastic. Now let's add all this up again. This is what we had before. I'm actually going to leave that there as like a before and after comparison, essentially. Before. Oh. After. Okay, great. Let's start with the iron, shall we? You like petroleum coke as it gets you over your coal shortages? As you're a big steel user. Yes, steel can be very important. I do sometimes know that when I use steel, I kind of just forget about coal power sometimes. And petroleum coke just comes in handy occasionally. I haven't used it much, but when I have used it, it's been good for what I need. Let's try and get a nice viewpoint over here. There we go. 6.75 plus 8.42. This is just such weird numbers. $31.47. That's unbelievably low. Again, we are making 5 motors per minute here. So the fact we're only consuming, well, not only, but like, regards of iron at least, the fact that we're only making 31.47 is nuts. So that's not a lot of iron. Of course, the other stuff adds up. Why don't you make a resume of which is the best recipe for each product, in your opinion? I am. I've got an entire series talking about the best recipes for everything. Should we do limestone next? I think copper is what I normally did. So 4 plus 4.4, that's 8.4. Okay, that's it. It's a big change right there. Coal is still 5 per minute. Raw quartz is now 20 per minute. So I only saved 5 raw quartz there, but consumed 11 water. Is that right? That doesn't seem worth it. That's 25 raw quartz to make 15. Yeah? That does not seem worth it at all to me, but it's what we've done, so that there you go. I'll make a note of that saying I don't recommend people do that. And with limestone, we need 6.75. I think that's honestly it. Yep. Welcome, Maltface. Is this research for your next video? Essentially, it is a little bit of research, yes. It shows you guys, like, behind the scenes how I come to my conclusions or my thought processes. Because a lot of people see my videos and they think, okay, well, he's just drawn to that conclusion because of what? So when I lay it out like this, when I go through it on my live streams, when I show you guys the alt recipes, when I make changes live, it kind of shows you my thought process behind these things, which I feel like adds a bit more context, which people might want to see. Also, it's a good way of me streaming and getting a bit of, like, video prep done as well. So it's a bit of a win-win, but I think it's for the good, the greater good. Is what I'm going to keep convincing myself, at least. Now, this is going to be quite costly now, isn't it, with the water? I'm going to reckon it's going to be about 200 water per... No, 120 water per minute. I hope it's less than 120. Because 120 is one water extractor at 100% efficiency. So if it's less than that, amazing. If it's more than that, feck. Essentially. You like the video of the encased industrial pipe versus encased industrial beam and the modular frames and the rotors? Yeah, I feel like the encased industrial pipe, or technically encased industrial beam video, was really important, and I'm quite happy it did quite well, because 95% of people use the encased industrial beam recipe, especially now, because Snats, when he was mentioning about the steel beam changes, he said that the encased industrial beam recipe, basic recipe, would now be cheaper because of the steel beam recipe, which everyone was like, okay, fantastic, it's cheaper, that means it has to be better than before. If it was good before, it must be great now, so I'll use that. But when you actually saw the video I made, it's like, no, it's actually not better now. It's still the exact same as it was before in theory, because the other recipe, the encased industrial pipe, is still better. So that's why I made that video. But yeah, I'm glad it managed to help some people out. That's what I try and do. Oh, you're joking me. .63. All small numbers, but it adds up eventually. Is that it? Plus... Hello? We are only consuming about 40 water per minute. That is so much less than I thought. So you can literally make 15 motors with one water extractor. That doesn't sound too bad. I'll definitely mention that in the video. The only problem though is that now you have to make like 20 refineries. Although... Wait. So have a look at this, right? When it comes to iron ore, this is what we were doing before. Make it a bit easier for you guys to try and see. And this is why I love doing things like this. I absolutely love doing things like this. Before using our pure water recipes, we needed 58 iron ore. We now need about 32. Before we needed 22.7 copper ore. Now it's just 8.4 copper ore. Which feels like a really crazy drop-off. How did we lose that much copper? That's a really crazy drop-off. That's 10. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that the maths is right. Yeah. Holds the exact same. Raw quartz barely even makes a dent. And actually consumes quite a lot of water. And limestone, again, pretty big difference. Only consuming a bit more water per minute. That's a really big change. Like, generally. That's huge. I'll definitely mention that in the video. The final thing I've got to do is this. Select you. Paint all of you lot to a 3 thickness. Yep. I think that's about right. And you there. And that's that recipe. And then of course you got the easiest recipe with the motors, where it's just consuming iron, but it's quite a lot of iron. And there we have it. I'm actually very happy I did that in the end. It's the one thing I needed. Are you joking? There we go. Nice. Now I can't change the name of that. Are you joking me again? Thank you. Oh, thank you very much, Julian, for the sub. It's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Юлиан Андерсон субшребет татычинель.
Yeah, thank you very much for the sub, man. That's extremely kind. Welcome to the channel. I really hope that you enjoy your stay. I think that's all I wanted to try and do there. And then, of course, the final recipe, which is just iron. Yep. I think what I'll do is actually, I'll move these to the side. So in the video, I can focus on these 3, like, official recipes without really using that many alternate recipes in them. And then I'll show these 2 in the end. Motor with just iron. There we go. And I believe that was 348? No, not even close. 278.4. I got the 8 correct at least. That's really interesting. I'm actually very happy I did this calculation. I am so happy that I did that. Now, when I come up here, because this was the kind of the original plan of today's stream. Where am I even going? The original plan was to calculate 20 motors per minute to add onto this recipe. Did I do that? No. Now I know what the best recipe is. And it is this one. That was a good work today. All we have to do now is just times everything here by 4. It doesn't even fit into there. I left tons of... I was being, like, extra conservative there with that. No, not conservative. I was being extra generous. Apparently, I still didn't leave enough room. Then move this over to here. Like so. Okay, now move you in a little bit closer. I can probably move that in a bit closer as well, and that. Yeah. Come on, don't be afraid of each other. Of course I didn't... Heck. That. You lot are fine. Then grab this. Move you in a little bit. And grab that. Then move you in quite a lot. And that's all we need. Brilliant. You're reserving all your oil. Yeah, I did that quite a lot as well. Can't stop building as well. You hate odd numbers, so even a recipe is better do, you could skip it because of difficulty to get 100% efficient better. Yeah, I'm like that as well. If a recipe doesn't look... satisfying is the wrong word, but if it doesn't look easy to make, I'll skip it a lot of the time. Which is why I did one of these recipes. I forgot which one it was now. Was it this? No, it wasn't that one. I think it was one of these recipes here. It might have been the OC supercomputer. Not sure now. But regardless, one of these recipes that I made was like super confusing looking. But then after I broke it down, I was like, actually, it's not that bad. I think it might have been this one. It was, yeah. It was actually the roti recipe. Because I was comparing the roti recipes of like, okay, well, this one just involves iron. This one just involves copper and iron. And then this one involves steel pipes and wire. Why would anyone want to bother making that? Then I broke it down a bit further and realized you can use the exact same recipe, but with just iron. And then after doing the calculations, I then figured out it's not only better than the basic recipe, but it's the best roti recipe in the game. And at first, when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, nope, not going to bother using that. I don't like what it involves. But if you look at the power usage, the amount of items you need compared to the basic, it's better. It only consumes like 1.4 more iron ore, but you end up saving on a lot of other stuff as well. So sometimes a recipe might look hideous. Like this, like look at all this, right? This is a piss take. It's still going. All of that just to make turbo motors. And then turbo motors then make something else, that then makes something else. It's just... it's overwhelming to look at, let alone to actually do. And this is why so many players, I can imagine, quit. I can almost guarantee that when people watch this turbo motor video, a lot of people are going to click off very soon because they see all the stuff needed and they're like, yeah, no thanks. Guaranteed. That's what I would do. If I was like brand new to the game, and then I saw something about turbo fuels, and I saw this random Valhalla and Pickle video in my recommended page, and I saw this, I would never come back. I would block the channel immediately. I'll do the calculations for that off camera. Because regardless, we've almost been live for 3 hours, which I think is not too bad, considering all we've been doing for the last like 3 hours is maths. Right? In theory, it's all we've been doing is just calculations and maths. So I have to go take a mental break. I'll be back live on Twitch tomorrow. YouTube, I might not be live. So if you do want to catch my stream tomorrow, then make sure you guys are following over on Twitch. You don't have to follow me. Like I keep saying, you don't have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You don't have to leave a like or any of that sort of stuff. It just helps. You don't have to do it. It's okay. Regardless, even if you watch my content, YouTube's more likely going to recommend it to you tomorrow anyway, so... But regardless, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see everyone tomorrow for the Twitch stream. And... actually, wait, tomorrow is Saturday. Oh, tomorrow is Saturday. I might do a YouTube stream then. I do want to try and stream on YouTube on the weekends. So I think what I'll do is I'll stream tomorrow on YouTube. Then I'll release a video on Sunday. Yeah. Yep. Let the brain cool down a little bit. I think I have to. But yeah, thank you very much for the 7 likes over on YouTube. Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, I guess I will see you hopefully all tomorrow. Have an amazing rest of your day. And remember, Godspeed.